everybody. So we are doing something a little bit different today. As you probably already worked out, there's something here. It's big and it's shiny. It's brand new-ish, kind of new, very new, and it's here for a couple of days for us to have a play with. So what is it? It is, obviously, it's Massey Ferguson. It is a 5S.145 tractor and Massey Ferguson FL4121 loader, front loader. Now, some of you may be thinking, well, that looks a little bit familiar. Farmer P had one of those, and George Saunders had one of those as well. You know, I've kind of seen one of them before. Well, it is the very same thing. This is exactly the same tractor. It's been around. Farmer P's had a go, George Saunders has had a go, and now it's our turn to have a little play with it. So there we go. So it's here just as a demonstrator. We have not bought it. Let's get that out right at the start. We have not bought it. We are not going to buy it for reasons we will explain later on. It's here because Chandler's had it on demo locally, and they said, while it's close, do you want to go on it? You know, because it's available. So we did. We said, yes, please. We'll have a little play with it for a couple of days and make a video and see what we think of it. So regular viewers will know we have a Kubota loader tractor here, and we do not have a teleporter. We regularly get asked, why don't you have a telescopic handler or, you know, a dedicated loading machine? Why do you have a tractor and loader? Historically, it's what we've always had ever since a prong. We've had a loader tractor. It is Dad's preference. He does 99% of the loader driving, and he doesn't want a teleporter. He wants a tractor and loader, so that is what we have. Loader tractor for us, it is our main loader. It is not our only loader, but it is our main loader, and it does occasionally do tractor work, but very little. It is almost always on the loader. On loader work, occasionally it will do some topping, power harrowing, rolling, that kind of stuff, but majority of its time is as a loader. So it, you know, loader tractors do tractor work, but its biggest role is a loader. Anyway, so what we're not going to be doing today or during this video is comparing this tractor to our Kubota, because it is a totally different class of tractor, very different spec level, very different price point. So to compare the two is just, it's not going to happen, because you cannot compare the two. What we're going to try and compare is the loaders. Okay, so this loader to our Kubota loader. If we were comparing tractors with the Kubota, that would be the what they call the global range, the lower spec, lower technology range of tractors. So we're not discussing, you know, so we're not going to compare tractor like for like, because they're completely different machines. Anyway, so loader. So it's a Massey Ferguson branded quickie loader. Quite a lot of manufacturers do that. You know, they take the quickie loader, they put their colour on it. You know, it's not unusual. It's a good loader, quickie, well established, been around for years and years, and they're probably one of the better loaders on the market. And this one has the Euro fitting on the front, which is exactly the same as the Kubota has got. So it's very easy. We can put our machines on it, not a problem. Loader headstocks are not standard across the industry. They probably should be, but I think the Euro is the most popular, and whether in time it will become standard, I don't know. So the 5S on the tractor is the range, the 145 is the model number, and that is the horsepower. So very simple, very easy. We'll have a look in the cab in a minute. This model being a demonstrator, it is quite a high spec model. It has got front axle suspension. I think it's got all the gear on for auto steer. You just need to add a bit more, you know, the basic kind of wiring loom and stuff is there for auto steer. You just add, if you want auto steer, you can put a bit more on. It has got 4 spools, all this modern braking stuff which I don't understand, and a nice chunky linkage, which is pretty similar to the 5.712 that we have here, just a little bit more modern. So moving on round, I guess the most important thing is the cab. Okay, so inside the cab it is quite a bit different and more modern to the 5.712 we have here and the 7.614. Biggest difference being everything is now built into the seat armrest. Dashboard is pretty much the same, and this is the same, but back here loader controls and stuff, we'll talk about that in a minute. So this is new to the 5S range. This is the joystick that controls pretty much everything. So backwards and forwards is gears. You have, there's your auto steer button if you spec that. Two electronic spool valves are on the little joystick there. Engine speed, gear selection, up and down on the linkage, and then you have a forward and reverse shuttle selector there as well, plus some F1, F2 buttons which you can assign all kinds of different functions to, diff lock and forward drive and all that kind of stuff. More gear settings here, and here we have four-wheel drive diff lock buttons which used to live over here but have now moved. And here is your draft control, depth control setting for your linkage, PTO button, and then because this is a loader model we have the loader joystick. So up and down standard, left and right is your crowd, and the little blue rolly button here is your third service or your grab service. Here we have up and down the gearbox, so you can change gear from the loader joystick, and again shuttle buttons to change direction on the joystick. So there's the two electronic spools on here, two mechanical ones on here, and moving backwards we have three buttons here that control loader functions, suspension, lockout and stuff. This is up and down for unlatching your hitch, your pickup hitch on the back. So you would lift it, pull the lever which is down here, the mechanical catch, drop it down again on the button, and then that is your in and out for your telescopic hitch. So that function used to be on a lever, but it's now got its own button. So up on the pillar, this is exactly the same as it has been for 10 years and more. Work lights, PTO speed selection, and that's your linkage settings. And down here has changed a little bit. You've got your lights. Okay, so they've taken away this button section here, and here is some options. Front suspension, I think that's an option. Reversing fan, brake to neutral, we'll talk about that in a minute. That's a useful loader function, and something to do with isobus, which is newfangled and I don't understand, so you know, I don't do that kind of stuff. Heating, ventilation up here, radio, kind of all standard stuff. So I guess the next thing now is to get on and use it and see what it's like. Regular viewers in the past will know when we're doing loader work, it's very rarely me driving, and it's nearly always Dad doing the loader work, so that he's going to drive this. So this is going to be his toy for the week. I will have a little play with it at some point just because I want to, but he is going to do the majority of the loader driving because he does it anyway. So yeah, there we are. Right, let's put it to some work. Okay, so the first real test we're going to give it, and we have been feeding bales of hay at this rain feeder for a long time. A lot of waste buildup around it, so we're going to clean it away. So this is kind of the first test of, you know, lifting a proper weight with it. So what he's picking up here is, like I say, it's waste hay. Basically, as cows feed, every time a cow backs away, they will lose a little bit. And because it's been so dry, we've been feeding so long, this ring feeder hasn't moved for probably 6 weeks. So it's treaded dung, it's a bit of waste hay, and it's just built up. So it's had rain on it kind of 10 days ago, so it's pretty wet, it's pretty heavy now. And it's fair to say our Kubota would struggle to pick this up, but this one, it's that extra hydraulic flow. It's not really about engine power, although that has got a lot more power than the Kubota, so it pushes well, but the Kubota always pushes well. It's hydraulic flow and a pressure which make the loader lift, and it's not lacking in that department. Well, that certainly didn't take long to put in. So let's go and tip out, come back. Right, so now it's my turn for a little play. So the tractor's been here a day and a little bit, and so far Dad has been using it. I have, as yet, apart from a little bit around the yard, I've not used it. I have just familiarised myself with the controls. So as you can see, we're at the muck heap. I have pushed up the far side just so that I can get a feel for what's going on. Now we're going to push up this side, have a see how it goes. Okay, so hopefully you can see what we're looking at. So we'll start off, we will use the forward reverse shuttle on the joystick. So you've got to press the button on the back, select which direction you want, lift the clutch up and it will go. So to do that, the shuttle lever has to be in neutral and you have to have your foot pressed to the floor on the clutch. After that, you don't have to touch either, you just pull this button on the back and then change direction. Let's give it just a little bit of revs, just to give it a little bit of push in. So this straw has been stacked here probably a couple of weeks, so it's quite dry and fluffy and it wants pushing up. Got plenty of pushing and lifting power. You can do this push and lift at the same time. But this isn't wet and heavy, so you know it's not a real. But there is not a lot of weight in this stuff. It's just kind of fluffy, half dry straw. But there's plenty of hydraulic flow for pushing, for lifting, and crowding at the same time. And plenty of engine power. for shoving in, for shoving up the heap, which is what you need. Okay, so if you want to go back to conventional shuttle, just move it into reverse. So another useful feature we've got on here, it's not a new feature, it's been on, it's on our two older tractors, so it's on the 7.614 and the 5.7.12, the brake to neutral feature. So that is on a button on here now, on the side pillar. It's much easier to find, but basically what that means, you can drive it on the brake pedal, you don't need the clutch. But press the brake pedal, putting it forward, nothing's moving, let the brake off, and I can stop it on the brake. Just like driving a torque converter, lift the brake, it drives. So you can turn the driving experience kind of into a teleporter. So it's much easier to find now it's on that button. Before you used to have to scroll through the screen to get it. But for a loader tractor, it's ideal just to press the button and you're away. Right, so we have now got to the end of our little demo. It's gone back today, so just before we wash it, we're just going to finish off the video, find out what do we think about it, and is it going to stay. So, Dad's in the hot seat. Hopefully we can see him. Right, so, firstly, what's the best bit about it?
Hydraulic power.
Right. So the hydraulic power for running the loader, we have used the linkage a little bit. On Dad did some topping the first day. But you know, any tractor will run a topper. It is hydraulic power you need to run the loader to get your lift capacity and also your tear out on your grab. So that is
excellent.
Very good. I think it's 110 litres a minute, and comparing it to our Kubota, I think that's 64. So totally different league. So that's the best bit. What's the worst bit?
Too many buttons.
It's way too technologically advanced, I guess you would say, for what we would want in a loader. So all this controls mounted onto the armrest of the seat. I think I'm right in saying that's an optional extra, and you can down spec it to a level that is very similar to our 7614. If we were to order one of these machines, we wouldn't have that high level of specification, and I would hope that comes at a lower cost, but it's bound to. But you know, we haven't even talked about prices because we're not going to buy it. The biggest reason for us not wanting to buy this, apart from the fact we're not looking, the tractor is too big. So it is, like we said at the start, it's a 145 horsepower engine. We do not need that in a loader.
120.
110, 120 is ample for what we need it for. And another thing, physically, the whole thing is too big. The roof line is too high. It just will not fit into some of our sheds. Now that is entirely down to the size of the wheels it's on. So it's on 38-inch wheels on the back, 28 on the front. The Kubota is on 34 and 24, so that reduces the height a long way. But again, that's an option. You know, we could have a smaller engine with smaller wheels and a lower spec cab with the same hydraulic output. So it's, you know, it's there, it's available. This machine is here because it's what's on demonstration. They can't have every type of machine available, but they just wanted us to try it. So there you are. We're not going to buy this one, and at the moment we're not in the market for anything. So
I do like the joystick though.
Okay, so another good point, the electro hydraulic joystick on the seat. Okay, so this one, like we said earlier, this is your gears and your linkage and all sorts, which will not be on a lower spec one. That will be over on the side console. But the electro hydraulic joystick runs the loader. Okay, so we covered it earlier on. You've got your up and down and your crowd on the actual joystick. The little blue roller thingy is your third spool. You can change direction on there, you can change gears on there, and go into neutral and all that kind of stuff. So that is at the high point of this cab, I guess it is really, isn't it? But equally that is available on the lower spec without having all this. So you know, there's options available to change and downgrade, I guess you could say.
The radio is a bit crap as well.
Well, that's because you listen to classic FM.
No, it's not. The aircon works very well. On the Kubota is all down round here.
Yeah, it's all in the...
And on this is up here. And I think, to be honest, the Kubota got the edge without all down the bottom.
When I drove it briefly one afternoon, I didn't think it was that great. On mine, I can have the air conditioning just ticking over, and it's cold enough for me. But on this one, it was kind of halfway. But the air vents are in a different place, so whether that, I don't know.
I think the Kubota got a better when it's down round here.
Yeah, rather than up in the air.
Yeah, it's better, but that's...
You know, that's kind of... Yeah.
And another thing on the loader, and I don't know whether it's me, but when you're picking up or letting down, when you let go of the control, it doesn't stop, it moves.
It does just go for like a half a second. When you pull full bore on the lever, it does. But if you go very gently, it does stop. So, you know, it's whether that can be adjusted out or, I don't know, we don't know. But
it would be getting used to it, I suppose. You would soon get used to it.
But if you were picking up a pallet or whatever, you would be going in careful anyway,
well,
and it wouldn't. But when you're up with a grab and you know, it's something that probably or maybe can be adjusted out. We don't know, but there we are.
I did go topping with it, and it was a very smooth ride. but then you probably wouldn't have the...
You wouldn't have front suspension on a load. Well,
No.
we wouldn't have it.
No.
Because we don't need it. But
No.
there we go. So there we go. Firstly, we need to say thank you to Matt and Andy from Chandler's for letting us borrow this. They are of the understanding we're not looking to buy it, and they were still happy to send it in. We've had it for 4 days. It's gone back today, so we've given it a real test. So like we said, Dad's done some topping. You've seen us loading the trailer with that wet waste stuff out the feeder. You've seen me pushing the mucky pup, and also yesterday you didn't see, but we did run the umbilical pump on this tractor. And then I was out in the field spreading as always. So we didn't film that. No, we never got no film of that. But no, that was just something we tried it on.
But it didn't drive the umbilical pump as well as our 4714 did.
No, the 7614 is 6-cylinder. This is 4, and on paper this one slightly has the edge on power, but on low down grunt it doesn't touch a 6-cylinder for PTO work. But George Saunders had this very tractor on his, I think he was flat lifting, and for draft work he couldn't tell the difference, but for PTO work you can. That's just,
well, it's just
6 against 4, I guess, isn't it? So there we go. Right, I think that's it, isn't it? We've done everything.
Well, as far as I know, I shan't be buying one, but
No,
not because
of what it is, just because of
I've no intention of buying anything.
we're not looking to change.
No.
And yeah, so right, I got to wash this off now because it's all dirty and they don't want it back dirty. So we'll say again thank you to Chandler's for letting us have it, and I'll say thank you to you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.